channels, and I didn't even realize I had two YouTube channels.
Oh, really?
It must have been a really old one. I know we're probably live now, but this is okay. I'm going to record this too. Um, yeah, I channels. I didn't even realize I had two YouTube channels.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it must have been a really old one.
Okay,
I know we're
let's
probably
turn that
live
off.
now. Yeah, I didn't realize I had that in the background. Oh, we're learning. This is fun.
Oh, so we know we're live.
Yeah,
Is
we're
that what
live.
that was? Okay, cool.
Hopefully on the right channel. Yeah, so I didn't know that I'd set one up years ago, but clearly I did, but there's nothing on it. So welcome to everyone who's catching us live. I do have a few people who have messaged me going, "Are you live today?" So
Oh, I love that.
yay, well done if you've caught on that we're going to be live every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So Monica and I are just going to have a lovely chat. We did this last week for the first time. We're calling this Wellness Wednesdays. A little bit of wellness, and we'll tie in a bit of water and wealth as well as we go down the line. And last week we spoke about pineal gland. So a little introduction. I'm Ashley, for those that don't know me. Hopefully you sort of know me, you've stumbled across my channel. I am a yoga teacher, yoga therapist, sound energy practitioner. I used to be a pharmaceutical rep. If you want to hear our backstories, go back to episode 1. Monica and I have connected online. We finally met in person, and it was lovely, wasn't it? That
It
we
was amazing.
that we just knew that we were vibing at the same frequency, and we had such a fun time at an amazing retreat in a castle, and we did lots of energetic work, and yeah, it was awesome, and it was the catalyst, wasn't it, to combining our forces and trying to just expand what we can share together. So that's me. I'll pass you over to my gorgeous friend Monica, who can.
Oh, thank you. So I'm Monica, and I am a holistic nurse. I think that's the easiest way for me to describe what I do now is I'm a holistic nurse who came from traditional bedside nursing. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I have a certification in quantum healing. And I think the most important thing to say here is that I'm a mom. I'm a mom of three, and it is very important to me that they grow up differently than I did. Everyone did the best they could, so I'm not holding any judgment around the way that I was raised, but definitely I have a different level of connection and wisdom that I have been able to tune into through what we're going to talk about. And it's allowing me to show up and share my gifts with the world, but first to share them with myself, to use these tools myself, and to share them with my children, because that is a huge priority to me, is allowing my kids, supporting my kids to have a different set of tools to learn and grow from, so that they don't have so much to let go of when
Perfect.
they're in their 40s, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And stuff that we didn't even realize that we had to let go of. I've noticed, like, I've had a really um just a really nice upbringing. There's been stuff going along the way, but nothing, nothing too traumatic. And there's still energetic, like ancestral stuff that is just old patterns and just old behaviors and stuff that we probably all recognize in our grandparents and how they were brought up and how they don't know any different. And it's just amazing having conversations with my children. They're asking questions that I never even thought of asking. And I find that fascinating. So I'm also a mum of three. My children are 13, 11, and 4. The 4-year-old pretty much runs the family because he has come in. He just blows my mind, the stuff, the information that he comes out with, the drawings that he's been drawing recently as well. It's amazing. And part of me wonders if, you have all these connections when you're pregnant. And I had a massive jolt and kickstart to my awakening journey when I was pregnant for the first time. And I started asking far more questions because I was so protective over myself and my body when I was pregnant. It was at that point that I thought, right, people were saying you need this, you need this. I was like, absolutely, I do not need any of that. Everything is perfect here. So when I got pregnant with the third, and that was during COVID, everyone else was full of fear. I didn't have any fear. I had a lovely time. I had all the family around me. Mike was couldn't work. He's a commercial airline pilot, so there weren't any flights at that point. So he was home. I was sitting there homeschooling too and rubbing my belly, having the best time ever and learning. And that was another jolt to an awakening. Had so much information just pouring in. And I think I was just more intuitive because of the pregnancy. There's such a connection knowing that there's that little light inside of you. It blew my mind a little bit, and that whole year, and that's my third child, and he is so aware. He asks the most profound questions, and he was drawing yesterday, and his drawings are amazing. I'm trying to, what did he draws all sorts of sun rays, like light codes, but it kind of blows my mind. I'll have to get one out to show you, because they're always all weaved in. I just see a little bit deeper in them. Some people probably just go, oh yeah, he's just drawing stuff, but the way he explains these drawings as well. And I feel like
Oh,
because there's so much more awareness in him from when I was pregnant.
yeah.
This is all tied into the ancestral energetic behaviors that we come in with, that we don't even realize. So
Yeah. We
I
want to see a picture for sure. Definitely want to see a picture,
I won't
please.
go now because you'll lose me for 10 minutes trying to find the best one.
Now, I love what you just said was just so loaded with our topic too.
Yeah.
We're talking about the pineal gland again this week. If you missed last week's episode, you can go check that out if you want to kind of learn some of the basics. But we're going to go a little bit deeper this week. And I would like to point out the fact that what you are sharing brings up so many pertinent issues around the pineal gland. And so, just to segue into that, the pineal gland, in simplest form, is your connection to the bigger part of yourself. It
Yeah.
is the avenue, it's the pathway. And so, when Ashley is sharing about heightened intuition during pregnancy, well, we know that, I mean, when you are a literal portal for another being, your intuition is going to be heightened. Typically, if you're doing it the right way, your body is cleaner, right? Because you're not partaking in any sort of extracurricular substance.
Yeah.
You're eating
For me,
better.
I was lucky because I didn't feel stressed at that point at all. Like everyone else around me held so much fear, and I think I felt so relaxed. I wasn't going along with the narrative, and
Yeah.
I
It,
just felt like I was in this gorgeous bubble and I had time to stop. I was teaching yoga still online with my growing belly, but I love that. That was just
yeah.
delicious.
Well,
So,
and that's the point
mm,
is that's your connection to your intuition, your pineal gland. If you were one of the people who was really in your body
mhm,
and restricted to the human that is this meat suit during COVID, you were in a lot of fear.
yeah,
But if you were in a space where you were actually connected to the bigger part of yourself and aware of that, then you weren't in fear, because I was not in fear. My kids were homeschooling. I have three kids as well, 18, 14, and 11. And we were having the time of our life.
yeah,
Like, and we were just watching it in not in disillusionment either. We were watching it enfold and unfold like the great awakening that it was. I mean, we would watch people do what they were doing and getting their boosters and all of these things. And we were just kind of like watching the simulation.
yeah, in awe or not. Like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I
wow,
think that's a good word for it. It was kind of like,
is this happening?
hmm,
Yeah, it was a bit like disbelief. This is actually happening, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this doesn't make sense. Didn't make any sense to me. But that pineal gland is like your antennae as well, isn't it? It's connected to all those, according to Joe Dispenza, crystals,
mhm,
rhombohedral crystals. Um,
yep,
and it
yeah. So, maybe we could talk about kind of the physiology of activating
go for it.
those crystals.
Want to start?
So, Tell us in the comments if you know Joe Dispenza. If you don't know Joe Dispenza, I'm going to encourage you to go do a search and look him up because he is a phenomenal neuroscientist, um, quantum physicist. And his story was kind of born of he's been in the medical field for years, but he was riding his bike in like a marathon or triathlon or something, and he actually got hit and it crushed his spinal cord. And they told him, like, these are your options. You can do this, and this will be the result, or you can do this, and this will be the result, but the result's not going to be good for you. And so he's laid up in a hospital bed, and he decides that that actually isn't going to be his reality. And this is when everything shifted for him, when he made that decision and decided to heal himself from the inside out through the power of his mind.
Amazing.
And belief and certainty and trust that it was all going to work out. He actually healed his body with his mind in a certain number of weeks.
I think it was 10 weeks and he was walking.
Yeah.
That's
So he
intense.
went from
It was intense.
confined to a bed
Mm.
in massive pain, unable to walk, to walking in a matter of about 10 weeks. And this is where he was highly activated to start looking at quantum physics from a different perspective. And he's been a trailblazer. And he did it through all the fear, all the doubt, all of the judgment that all of us, move through as humans through our journeys, going into the online space or whatever it is that we are doing to be more visible and show up in our mission, because it's used a little bit out there according to the, regular folk.
Yeah.
And what he teaches you about is some very powerful practices, particularly with meditation, where you activate with intention the pineal gland. For me, I feel like his methods are quite masculine and kind of invasive and raw and like gritty. And I have done many of his meditations. I personally have preferred a more gentle, kind of subtle feminine path.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to taking the time to be in the silence for a certain amount of time every single day. And like, you get to choose the time. Many people say, I can't meditate, it's too hard. Well, you know what? It's hard until it's not. And you'll never know if you don't try.
And if you don't have time to meditate, that's your sign that you have to meditate, right? Meditate.
This is how we expand time. It's that, it's that like dichotomy or the paradox of being human, right? It's like it is, but it isn't. It's supposed to be that way. The mental mind can't comprehend it. And so I'll tell you what I started with, and then I'll pass it to Ashley to share, what she maybe started with. Is I was so in my head, and this was 2017 when it was like, when I knew it was time to like get out of the marriage that was no longer serving anyone. And I was so in my head, and I was really bitter. Like, I'll be super transparent with you. I was walking around this angry little woman. I know. Can you imagine me, angry little woman? What? And my thoughts were like, I was in resentment, and I just really was like, why me? I was in victimhood. I was like, why me? And I would ruminate on, like, okay, for example, if I'm outside mowing the yard because he left me, I'm like driving the lawnmower, pissed off, like, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't want to do it. He should be doing this. He left us. He chose that over us, right? And then I was like, well, I found Abraham Hicks, Joe Dispenza, and Wayne Dyer.
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer. And one of my friends was like, what sort of mindset work do you do? And I was like, I'm just pissed off. I don't do anything. And so I started to play that stuff on repeat. And I kept hearing, you got to meditate, you got to meditate, you got to meditate. And so I started with 2 minutes a day. Look, that's all I could do was I could give it a hot 120 seconds. That's all I could do. And I would have to count my breaths. Like, I literally would be like, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 in my mind. Otherwise, my mind would, go off into some anger thread. Yeah. But so then what happens is you do it for 2 minutes, and it's like working in a muscle, right? It's like working a bicep. It just doesn't get big overnight. And so I was able to expand my capacity to be just as quiet as I could, It's like they say quiet the mind, but the mind doesn't really want to be quiet. You're just going with the flow, trying to chill out a little bit, right? And now, gosh, when I meditate, it's delicious. It feels good. I know that my pineal gland is highly activated because one of the things that you experience with it is you see that color in motion. And I'm a very visual, intuitively very visual. So I close my eyes and I'm seeing the energy move and that beautiful ball of like bright blue light. That's an indication to you that your pineal gland is activated and that those crystals in there are kind of popping off. And what's the significance? The significance is that we are um, we are creating coherence between the right and left side of our brain. And so when you're using one side, which you're never really using just one side of your brain, but when most of your activity is restricted to one side of the brain, it's very limiting. But when we connect those two hemispheres of the brain, it ripples out into the field and we're actually connected to our soul, the bigger part of ourselves. And guess what's there? All the solutions,
Everything.
all the magic, all the bliss, right? All the funnest experiences, that's where they are. And you can't really explain it. It is. And you get to experience it for yourself, but you'll never experience it if you don't just give it a try.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get off my soapbox and take that wherever you want. I would love to know kind of what your first experience was with meditation and expanding beyond your physical body. And
Well, I think I did that completely unconsciously as a child. So I used to draw and paint and do loads of art, and that
I
was
did
my
too.
therapy when I was a child. I'd sit there and draw. I played musical instruments. That was like meditation for me. And you know, I think that's why I've kind of moved into sound healing naturally because it's always healed me as a child. And playing instruments, I just love it. And I just haven't picked them up. And I need to pick them back up. I've still got them and I still look at them. But when I think about it, it makes me quite emotional because I absolutely loved it because I completely switched off when I'm playing the instruments. Um, so I've always played woodwind. I played clarinet, recorder, clarinet, flute, and saxophone, and I just loved it. And that's how I kind of meditated as a child. Or we had horses, so I used to go riding. That's a meditation itself, isn't it? But it was all physical stuff. I was doing something. And when it got quiet, was probably when I went into corporate world and found yoga at the same time. So I was kind of practicing, but it was a very fast Ashtanga process because I liked ballet and yoga, so ballet and gymnastics. So this Ashtanga practice was like brilliant exercise, but also yoga. So it took a while of that to slow down. So it was really, really gradual. And until I actually sat and meditated consciously still, um, yeah, I reckon that was probably in my early 20s. And I still didn't understand it. I was doing it because it felt nice and I was being guided through the yoga class, but I still didn't have that awareness that I have now. And it's as if now everything that I learned 20 years ago has kind of started to make sense. It's like, oh, that's what my teacher was talking about. It's really interesting because going back to Joe Dispenza and how like his masculine kind of way of activating the pineal gland, he talks about breath work and holding your breath and then sucking like from the pineal gland from your root lock. But in yoga and Kundalini yoga, you've got all these bandhas, which are your locks in your body. So you've got the mula bandha, which is your root lock all around your perineum and your private parts, and you suck it all up. And there's different locks throughout your body connected to your chakras. And Joe Dispenza says just tense all the muscles as if you're pushing energy, and he connects it with the cerebral spinal fluid, pushing all that energy to put pressure on the crystals in your pineal gland, which then just puts all that pressure on and activates the crystals and the antennae in your head. So it's all connected. And now that I practice those things, I'm like, oh wow, it works. It does make sense. But it's as if I had to go through a very kind of long, gradual, soft, slow process. It wasn't like, bam, I know what I'm doing. It was a really gradual thing. And I think when I really started to understand it was around 2006 when I stopped selling drugs, legal drugs. eat their
Yeah.
still drugs, right? Drugs that I got paid for doing for pharmaceutical companies, just to clarify. Um, and I became cabin crew for BA, and I became a long haul cabin crew, and it was like a career break for me, but it was the best job I've ever done. And I did
So
spend
what was it? What was it?
I was cabin crew as
What does
for
that mean?
that means a trolley dolly. I was an air hostess for BA, long haul.
Okay.
So I stopped selling drugs. A friend at the time was cabin crew, and I never even considered it as a pathway. And she was like, "Oh, should we? You know, I've got all the answers. I've just got in with BA. I know exactly what to do. I know so and so in training." And I just copy and pasted her CV and her job application, and I did it. They offered me the job, and I
I
thought, if I
didn't know
can
that. I
copy
didn't know that.
and paste
I
ah,
love that. That's awesome.
yeah. So I spent 8 months as an air stewardess,
How
and
fun.
it was. I got that job, and I thought I'll always wonder what that job's like if I don't take this. Most people thought I was mad. You're going from corporate pharmaceutical, like a proper career, to becoming cabin crew for BA. And I was like, yeah, straight into long haul. They never do that. They were just desperate for crew at this time. So I went all over the world, just popping around. And I remember when there was that something happened in Heathrow to do with liquids, and that's when they put all the rules in, and we got stuck in San Francisco. And it was in San Francisco that I sat there, and I went to a bookshop, and I got stuck there for 9 days and got paid for it. It's amazing.
That's
And I just sat
awesome.
there and people watched because it's the best place to watch people.
I
It-
bet.
oh my goodness. I sat there and people watched. I went into the bookshop. I started reading all the spiritual books. So I never used to read books as a child or as a going through school because I thought, well, I should be learning. I should be learning my textbooks. I'm wasting my time reading books. That was in my head because I was all very much I need to get better grades, but get better grades. And then when I did that job as cabin crew, I had nothing to do. When I was off that aeroplane, I had no ties, I had nothing to do. So I sat and read books. And I think the first book was um, Brian Wise, Many Lives, Many Masters. I would highly
Oh,
recommend that one. It's really amazing. So then I went through all of his books, and then, yeah, Celestine Prophecy and Esther Hicks, Asking It Is Given. There's so many books that I went through, and all of that just opened something, and it was brilliant. So it was that year of my life that was a huge change. And I'm looking back and wondering, I'm connecting with all this astrology. I wonder if it was my Saturn return. I need to go through my birth chart because people say when you get your Saturn return, things shift. Anyway, I've
wow.
completely gone off a tangent, but that was my first connection to like proper meditation and understanding it and understanding the power behind it, reading these books and reading what other people's experiences. I think that's so valuable because you start going, oh, that happened to them. That could happen to me.
Yeah.
It opens
Yeah.
possibility, doesn't it?
Yeah. Um, to go a little deeper into my first experience, just from a perspective of opening pathways, because people say I don't have time, I don't have energy, I don't have the will to do it, that's why we do it so that these pathways can open up to us. So I was in 2017, I was living in a house that was very old. I was a newly single mom. I really had no idea how I was going to do it financially. I needed to sell that house that was falling apart. And, I'm this little 5'1" woman. And I was like, how am I going to be able to fix this house up? I don't have the money to do it. I don't have the time, blah, 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 all those stories. And I'm telling you, when I started meditating, even that 2 minutes,
Hmm.
so many pathways opened up to me. Energetically, I was able to have the energy and the stamina and the excitement and the will to start painting the walls. And I did it by myself. The kids were very little at this time. But I wanted to. It's like I was connected to the energy that creates worlds. And then as I kept meditating, all of the right resources came in. The men, the kind men who wanted to help me to fix my house came in. The amazing real estate agent who helped me to get like $30,000 more than I thought I was going to be able to get out of my house came in. The right buyer came in. It's like every single resource that I needed kept popping off. And it had everything to do with activating my intuition, activating the pineal gland, sitting in the silence and allowing that connection with the bigger part of us that holds all the solutions.
Yeah.
And so, everyone's pathway is different. Everyone's pathway is different. That's what makes this also juicy. But there is a pathway. And regardless of how you feel about your ability to access that in your humanness, you get to just give it a shot.
Yeah, I totally resonate with that because that year when I had sat down and connected, so much magic happened there. I've got so many stories that happened that year. And the synchronicities, the people I met, just everything that unfolded from that point was magical, like really magical. It was amazing. Yeah, but that's another episode.
Yeah, there will be another one for sure.
Yeah. So I love it. So that's
Yeah.
that, and just I'm just checking my battery on my computer says it's low. Um, I want to just circle back because also when I was pregnant and feeling so connected, obviously when you're pregnant, you're full of even more water than you are already. And that would have had a huge impact on the clarity that I had because of that water and because of the memory and the consciousness that is in the water. I wasn't quite drinking structured water at that point, but it was definitely filtered and clean at least. And just those are the most simplest tools to start with, just activating that pineal gland, is just being in the stillness, checking out some breath work, trying to connect and kind of as if you're pushing the energy up to your head and releasing and relaxing and just seeing what flows and drinking the
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, go do some Kundalini yoga. Search
yeah
it up.
yeah
I love Yogi Gems. Yogi Gems is amazing. It's and that's the version of that kind of Joe Dispenza method that I prefer. It's a
yeah
little bit softer, but it still is moving that cerebral spinal fluid up to the pineal gland. And yes, huge. I mean, we are water. We are at a cellular level over 70% water. And so that is, for me, the number one key was really allowing myself to access and feel fully aligned with investing in structured water. And so that's why we have come together. Like we are working with the waters of the world and the waters within. And so if you feel called and interested in learning about the structured water that we are aligned with, that is the highest integrity, highest quality structured water you can access on this planet at this time, then reach out to us, comment, let us know. And we're super happy to share that magic with you because it's one of the key factors is what water are you drinking? What are you putting in your body? Does your body recognize it? Is it clean? Is it full of plastics? Is it structured?
is it
Is it
fun?
antioxidant or is it oxidizing?
Is it
I feel like that
hydrogen?
should be a word too.
Yeah, oxidizing. That's a daisy. I love that. I will put lots of information in the description to this video as well, so you can link to certain tools that we've recommended during this little chat. And yeah, I would say since that first kind of shift in awakening when I became cabin crew, I reckon this year is on a par to how magical and how much things have shifted. So it's like the next step, and that is definitely down to the water. And
Mm,
maybe that's why my children are much healthier than I was at their age.
yeah.
Being a child of the
Yep.
80s, I'm not sure the food, as much as my mum tried her very best, there's all sorts of stuff that we learn now and go, oh my goodness.
I know. We're like, oh,
Yeah. Oh, well, this has been lovely. We'll leave it at 30 minutes and then we won't get we could get carried away and chat all day, couldn't
Oh, we
we?
could. We could keep y'all here for the entire day, probably.
Share some magical stories. So come back next week and I will share some more magical stories of what happened that year. If you're interested, comment below.
Okay.
And we will say bye-bye before my battery dies on my computer. So
Perfect timing.
it's perfect timing. And we will be back next week. Take
Bye,
care,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's